Ocala.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I don't remember how many years ago it was that I had a bump on my side of my nose, and it turned out that it was skin cancer. And I remember going to the doctor, the surgeon, and I laid down on this chair, and he did something to my nose so I couldn't feel anything. I had my eyes closed, and he basically cut it out. And I could breathe so well. I think he totally opened my nose. It must have been nasty looking, I'm guessing. But after he did what he did, then I had to sit in this waiting room and wait to find out if he got it all. They were going to come back and tell me that I might need to come back or whatever. I don't really remember. It's been so many years. And then I was also waiting to find out what kind of skin cancer it was. There was three types, and I'm not the expert, so I'm going to let the expert tell you in a second. Mine turned out to be what they call the good. You got the good kind of cancer, whatever that was. Do you remember what it was called? Basil? That's what it was called?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Okay. But there was a guy in that room while I was waiting who had a lot of areas of his face that had to be cut out.
Yeah. That was sad.
Remember? Yeah. And I didn't know that wasn't going to be me, because that's what they said it could be. It could be that we have to go deeper and farther out. And it's holy mackerel. For me, just to give you a long story short, it looked like a wart. And they cut it out, and that's all they had to do. And then there's the scary word melanoma, which I think is the worst one, right?
Yes.
Dr. Sanjiv Agarwala is on the phone. He's the chief of medical oncology and hematology at the St. Luke's University Health Network in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He's going to talk to us about melanoma. This month is Melanoma Awareness Month. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good. And where are you in Bethlehem right now?
I am.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. Do the three types, is that all there are? Not that that's all, but I mean, are there three types only, and are they all caused by the same things? Like I was always told it was the sun that does this.
Yeah, so basically there are three types of skin cancer, essentially. Basal cell cancer being the most common, then there's squamous cell, and then there's melanoma, which are the least common, which is good because that's the only one that has a chance to really spread with any frequency. And certainly sunlight is the cause, or one of the causes of all three of them, and much more the cause of basal cell cancer, I would say. Melanoma, it's a little bit mixed. There is the sun that's important, but melanoma can develop in people who don't always have sun exposure. So that's a little interesting and also a little scary because, we don't know what causes those melanomas. But I think safe to say sun is important, and that's a good place to start in terms of prevention.
What is cutaneous melanoma? What is that?
Okay, so cutaneous just means that the melanoma started on the skin, and which sounds like a no-brainer. But the reason we say cutaneous melanoma, believe it or not, there are some melanomas that don't start on the skin, and that's what I meant by saying that those are the ones that are not sunlight-related, for example.
The notes that were provided to me, doctor, so that I could talk to you and sound halfway intelligent, indicated something called PV10 and a phase 2 investigation. Can you help us with what those things are?
Yeah, sure. So basically, let me start by saying that when melanoma spreads, it's a tough situation, and therefore there's been a lot of research going on with clinical trials for new drugs, and the good news is that we made a lot of progress, and we have some new drugs that have been quite effective. So PV10 is another investigational drug for a specific stage of melanoma that we say is stage 3, which means it's spread beyond the melanoma to the local area, but not into the internal organs. And of course, for that kind of a situation, you want to have a surgeon remove it if possible. But if they cannot remove it, or it keeps coming back, we have this drug called PV10, which is we inject it directly into those lesions. And we're seeing some nice results in shrinkage and a boost in the immune system at the same time. So it's one of the clinical trials that we and others are doing for that stage of melanoma.
Oh, wow. Does it show up as a tumor? See, mine was like just the best way I can describe it, looked like a wart. And I'm assuming that was a tumor. But is cancer always manifested as a tumor?
Well, a wart could be just a wart or a tumor. So, anything that's raised or a lump like that could be under the skin. or on the skin, that could be a tumor or a cancer or whatever you want to call it. But obviously, if it's internal and it's in your liver, for example, you wouldn't even know unless someone did a CAT scan and found like a spot in your liver that shouldn't be there. So it can present like that too.
Gotcha.
What's very scary is that we were provided with a couple of figures saying that an estimated 9,940 deaths will occur from melanoma and 3,400 deaths from other types of skin cancer just in 2015 alone, and that some of it could be prevented.
Exactly, and that's the scary part. Like a little skin lesion that looks like it's nothing can cause the death of that many people. You're absolutely right. So, obviously the idea is to be aware that it can happen, to take precautions if you can, but more importantly, if you do get diagnosed with melanoma, to really seek treatment from a good melanoma center that has expertise and experience as to what to do next.
Well, just like TV shows promote what TV shows are showing up, like in the next couple of days, we did the same thing. Well, we do the same thing all the time, and in your case, we had a few people asking us specifically when you'd be on, which tells me they're listening right now. My hunch is that they either have melanoma or know somebody who does. Is there news for them? I think I read something about clinical trials. Is there something that you could, is there possible hope for them that wasn't out there before because of the clinical trials?
Indeed. This last few years, last 2 or 3 years actually have been wonderful for melanoma patients because we've got all these new drugs that actually are now FDA approved based upon research that we started years and years ago. So there is certainly a lot of hope for patients. If they have advanced melanoma, fortunately not that common, but if they do, talk to your local doctor, get on the websites and find out what's out there, because not only are there new approved drugs, but the way we make progress in cancer research is to take those drugs and add other drugs to them or test new hypotheses which can even advance the care even more.
People are also worried about side effects. If they get treatment for one thing, they might have a malady with something else. Has this new research decreased the amount of side effects?
A very important question. Side effects are important. Well, let's put it this way. Certain people need aggressive treatments, and unfortunately they do have side effects. If you have locally advanced melanoma, though, the beauty about PV10 as an option, and it's just an option right now, is that it goes directly into the tumor and it stays there, so you really have no side effects outside of that except for some local pain, which is not that severe. So that's nice in that way. But the question is, of course, it's not suitable for everybody. If you got melanoma that's spread to other organs, this is not good for you. You got to get a more aggressive treatment that unfortunately will have some side effects.
Yeah, absolutely. Doctor, we have some calls coming in. Are you okay with taking phone calls?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's go to the phone. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air now with Dr. Agarwala.
Yes, good morning, doctor. I had a parent who had skin cancer. Is there a hereditary factor in this disease?
Well, it depends on what kind of skin cancer. So, there is a hereditary factor in every disease. In melanoma specifically, there is some hereditary, but most melanomas, the good news is, are not hereditary. There are some families that it is, but they're very rare. However, if you have a family member with skin cancer or melanoma, your risk goes up a little bit. Not enough to lose sleep over, but enough to be careful.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And does it favor certain nationalities, certain ethnicities? Does it favor one group over another?
Yeah, so it's a good question because, the lighter your skin, if you have red hair, light eyes, you burn easily instead of tanning, those skin types are the ones that are more prone to developing skin cancers in general and melanomas in particular.
Yeah.
And this PV10 is very, very great news because, like you said, it is injected right into the cells, and
exactly.
It
Right.
won't harm the surrounding good tissues.
That's what it appears like. Now, I do want to emphasize it is experimental, so it's hope, but it's a clinical trial right now. We hope that it will be successful in our trial, therefore eventually get approved by the FDA, but right now it is investigational.
All right. So in the last few seconds we have, can you give us the information we need to look into this further, like a website, for example?
Sure thing. So for PV10, the best website would be www.pvct.com. And for this trial and many others that we have ongoing in the St. Luke's network, I'll give you the clinical trials phone number of the office. It's 484-503-4151.
Okay, excellent. And I'm sure Robin will put that on Facebook. And for the listeners, if you need it repeated, call us. We'll be glad to repeat that for you. Dr. Sanjiv Agarwala, thank you so much for being on the air with us. One of these days, I want to get to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
You should, and I hope to see you here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit